again, my little yarnivores and spiderettes and arachnids. Fiber Spider back again with a continuation. We're on row 9 of the knitted lace diamond shawl. Very, very excited. And I told you guys that I would be back for a continuation, and here I am, and here you are. Welcome. All right, so like I said, we're on row 9 because the repeat for this pattern, it's rows 9 through 16. Keeping in mind, of course, that all of the even numbered rows, you just purl your way across, so it's not that bad. So right now what we need to do is, since this diamond and this diamond not going to get any bigger, well, we need to create new diamonds. This time one here and one at the end, but also this diamond in the middle is going to grow up again. All right, so we're going to go and we're going to continue right along, footloose and fancy free. So for the continuation, for the repeat, we're starting with row 9. So again, we are going to start by knitting the first stitch and doing a yarn over as always. So knit that first stitch and yarn over. And to start creating our new diamond, knit that next stitch and yarn over. Now we need to decrease this diamond here. So we need a left leaning decrease. So slip and then knit and then pass. Okay, then going to knit the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then we need a right leaning decrease. So these next 2 stitches, knit them together. And to start creating our new diamond in the middle, we have to yarn over, knit 1, and yarn over, just like we did at the very beginning. So now for this diamond, we need to decrease it. So we need, again, a left-leaning decrease. So slip and knit and pass. Knit the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Knit the next 2 stitches together. For that right leaning decrease. Then yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, and knit the last one, and that makes our diamond at the edge. Alrighty, so for row 10, just knit your, not knit your way back across, purl your way back across. On the even numbered rows, always purl your way back across, and I will meet back up with you for row 11. Alrighty. Okay, so we're up to row 11 once again. And once again, we need to have this diamond growing, the middle diamond growing, and the diamond at the end growing, whereas this one and this one need to continue shrinking. So, that being said, going to knit the first stitch as per usual, and yarn over. And now, like we had once before, we have to knit these 3 stitches. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3. Yarn over. And we need to have a left leaning decrease once again, so slip as if to knit, knit the next stitch, and then pass the slip stitch over. There we go. And then we only have 3 stitches before that yarn over, so we need to knit the next one, then knit these 2 together for that right leaning decrease. So knit the next stitch, and then knit the next 2 together. There we are. Then yarn over once again. Okay, and we have the beginning of a new diamond here, so after doing our yarn over, knit the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yarn over again. And then we need to work on decreasing this diamond here. So left leaning decrease, so that's after our yarn over here, we slip and knit and pass. Then we knit the next stitch, and then we need our right leaning decrease going that way, so knit the next 2 together, and yarn over, and then knit the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, and knit the last stitch. Okay, so that is the end of row 11. For row 12, purl your way back across, and I'll meet back up with you. Row 13. All right, so this is the last of the rows in which we actually need to pay attention to what we're doing for the repeat. So again, I'm going to start off just as we have with our previous rows. I'm going to start by knitting 1 and yarning over. Nothing new there. All right, so now we need to knit the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over. Okay, so now we have our double decrease once again. We've got one here, and we also have one here that we're going to do. So that being said, going to make sure that we still have our yarn over right here, and going to slip the next 2 stitches together at the same time knitwise, like so. Knit the next stitch, and then pass those 2 slipped stitches up, over, and off for our double decrease. There we go. And then yarn over, and knitting the next 5 stitches once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Pull out a little bit more yarn. Yarn over. And we've got another double decrease. So slip the next 2 stitches together off knitwise, like that. Knit the next stitch. Slip those 2, well, we're passing the slip stitches up, over, and off, like so. You just got to be careful that knit stitch, you don't accidentally pass that up and off. You know, just those that we slipped get passed, not that knit stitch. Got to be careful of that. So then we yarn over again and knit the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over and knit that last stitch. Okay, so that was row 13. For row 14, purl your way back across, and I will meet back up with you for row 15. Row 15. It's like the icing on the cake. It's a real treat. I do love it. It's like that little squiggle on a Hostess cupcake. Okay, so for row 15, all we do, scoot our row counter, all we do is knit the first stitch, yarn over, and then we knit all the stitches all the way across until we reach the very end, where we do a yarn over and a knit 1. Now, some things that I would like to mention while I'm doing this, there are tricks, yes there are, that I would definitely recommend to you if you are not familiar with knitting lace, even if you are familiar with knitting lace, especially lace, because if you make a mistake, which we all do, it can be very, very tricky to fix mistakes after we have made them, as far as trying to tink or unknit or frog our way back to the mistakes. So, that being said, I do have a video on how to use a lifeline, which basically it is a matter of threading a bit of scrap yarn through your stitches, and then you keep knitting, and then if you inadvertently make a mistake, you can frog back to that lifeline so that you don't have to undo all of your precious work. No, the only thing that you would lose is what you knitted since putting in the lifeline, and then you can take out the lifeline and then put it in after you've knitted a couple of inches or so. It's a safety net, and there's nothing wrong with insurance. There's nothing wrong with a safety net by any means. So I will put a link to that video that I did in the description box, as well as the lifeline trick for trying to determine how big your shawl is, because it can be tricky if you have hundreds and hundreds of stitches on your cables. You can't see just how big your project is. So I'm going to put that in there too for you guys into the description box. So we're just about at the end here, and I just need to now yarn over and knit the last stitch, and shaboom. So then for row 16, I'm just going to purl my way back across, and I will meet back up with you. Okie dokie pokey. All right, so I did row 16, and you know what? Because I love you guys so much, and because I want to be thorough and I like to be understood, we're going to do another repeat. So we're on row 9 again. Yes, we are. And before we continue on, just admire how gorgeous our work is so far, because we've got the beginning of 3 diamonds. Well, at the end of this repeat, we're going to have the beginning of 4 diamonds. Yes, it's so pretty. Okay, so back to square one, so to speak. So for row 9, once again, we're going to knit the first stitch and yarn over. Now, because we need to have the beginning of a new diamond, after doing knit and yarn over, we knit 1 new stitch for the new diamond and yarn over. So that's the beginnings of our new diamond right there. Now we need to decrease the existing diamond, right, with a left slanting decrease. So slip and knit and pass for that left slanting decrease. Okay, then knit the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then these last 2 stitches that we have here, we're going to knit those 2 together for a right slanting decrease. So knit these 2 together and then build out this center diamond here. So going to yarn over and knit 1 and yarn over. All right, so that's the beginning of a new diamond. Now this diamond needs to be decreased, so left slanting decrease. So that's a slip and a knit and pass that one right over. Knit the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Now we need a right slanting decrease with these next 2 stitches. Knit those next 2 together. There we go. Knitting those 2 together. Beginning of a new diamond, so we yarn over, knit 1, and yarn over for that new diamond. And now we need to decrease the next diamond. So left slanting decrease, that's slip, knit, pass. So slip and knit and pass. Knit the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Knit the next 2 stitches together for a right slanting decrease. So knit these 2 together. Okay. And then for the last new diamond, we're yarning over right here. Then knit 1. Yarn over and knit the last one. Okay, so that's it for row 9 for the repeat. For row 10, purl your way back across, and I will meet back up with you for row 11. All right, so for row 11, I'm going to mosey right along, and we're going to knit that first stitch as per usual and yarn over as per usual. Then we're going to knit those first 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over. Okay, then we need to continue to decrease this diamond here. So left leaning decrease, that is a slip and a knit and pass. Okay, and then if you look here, you can see that we only have 3 stitches before the yarn over, so we need to knit the next one, then knit 2 together. So knit that next one, and knit these 2 together. There we are. Yarn over, then we knit the next 3 so that this one can grow. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, then this diamond needs to decrease, so left leaning decrease with a slip knit pass, slip, knit, and pass, knit the next stitch, and then we have our decrease again, so knit 1, then a right leaning decrease, so that's knit these 2 together, there we are, and yarn over, and then knit these 3 so that this one can grow. 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over. Okay, this one needs to shrink, so left leaning decrease, slip knit pass, so slip and knit and pass. Okay, knit 1, and then we need to knit the next 2 together for a right leaning decrease. Yarn over, knit the next 3 stitches normally. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, and knit the last stitch. Okie dokie. All right, so for row 12, purl your way back across, and I'll meet back up with you for row 13. Row 13 for the repeat. Okay, so we're getting there. We are most certainly getting there. All right, so now going to knit that first stitch and yarn over, and then we're going to knit the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, yarn over. Now we have the double decrease because we've got our yarn over here. We've got these 3 stitches left. So we need to do the double decrease. So that means to slip the next 2 stitches off together knitwise onto the right needle. Knit the next stitch. Now I find it helps if you sort of hold those 2 slipped stitches in place. So you knit that next stitch, and then you slip, well, you pass, you don't slip, you pass those 2 slipped stitches up, over, and off of your needle. Pull down a little bit. Okay, then yarn over once again. And knit the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Yarn over. We need to do another double decrease, so after doing our yarn over, slip the next 2 stitches off together knitwise. Knit the next stitch. Pass those 2 slip stitches up, over, and off. There we go. Yarn over. And knit the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, and yep, we have another double decrease. So slip those next 2 together off together. There we go, knitwise. Knit the next stitch. Pass those slip stitches up, over, and off. Yarn over. Knit the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, and knit the last stitch. Okay, so that's it for row 13. For row 14, purl your way back across, and I'll meet back up with you. Alrighty, so row 15, very, very simple, very, very, very simple. All you have to do is quite easily just knit that first stitch, and yarn over, and then knit all of your stitches for the rest of this row until you reach the very end. It's that easy. So as I was saying at the beginning of this tutorial, that you really only need to pay attention to 3 of the rows. So when you put it into that kind of context, it's really not that bad. It looks so much more complicated than it is. I mean, I don't know what I mean. I mean, it's like, it looks really, really, really intricate and complicated, but when you break it down, which is what I really did try to do for you, as far as not just the how, but the why, as far as the leaning of the decreases one way and the other way, once you see why you're doing what you're doing, I believe that it makes a lot more sense and it becomes a lot more palatable and a lot less esoteric and a lot less mystical. And you're like, oh, so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Oh, it's like you sort of have like an aha moment right there. And that is why I would much rather try to be thorough than just leaving you with that first video, because when you can see the repeats and how they work and why they work, it's like, oh, okay, sure, yeah. So what I'm doing now, yes, I'm doing my row 15, and then row 16 is going to be a regular purl row. Nothing new there. Nothing new there. But then I think that for, as I like to say, for stuff and giggles, that I'm going to show you the bind off that I used. Now, I did do the bind off on a previous video or two. It's sort of the super stretchy bind off, and I find that it works really, really well. And because, again, I have a tendency of stitching tightly, and that's why I use needles that are bigger than the size recommended. And because I stitch tightly, my bind off is usually, it's usually very rigid, and it has a tendency to make the work look a little bit puckered. So I'm going to show you the bind off that I did as well. But we are at the end of row 15. So before you reach that last stitch, all you do is yarn over and knit that last stitch. Okay, so for row 16, yes, I'm going to purl my way back across, and then I'm going to show you the bind off that I used. Okie dokie, be right back. Alrighty, so I completed row 16 off camera as per usual. And so when you are at the point where you feel that it's big enough, me personally, I just now double counted how many of these half-finished diamonds along the top edge. I had 20 of them, and then I decided to do my bind off. All right, so then after doing your row 16, you're ready for your bind off. So that being said, I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. Well, relatively speaking. It's very simple. So going to knit the first 2 stitches as you would normally. And then going to go in through the front with your left needle and knit them together. Like that. And then knit the next stitch. And then put your needle through the front of those loops. And knit those 2 together. So essentially you're knitting them together through the back loop. And it really, really does work. And it really does make a difference. So knit the next stitch. And then through the front of your loops. And then knitting them together. And then knit the next stitch. And so on and so on and so forth. All right, so I'm going to do the rest of this off camera, and I'll be right back. Da 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 da. Oh, it's so lovely. I love it. And because of the bind off, it does have some actual stretch to it, which is really nice. It's not quite so confined as the usual bind off. Now, of course, again, if you don't like this sort of curled, rolled looking edge, before doing the bind off, I would suggest perhaps doing a couple of rows of just knit stitches, on both sides. And that way, this should not be quite so much of a thing, but then you would have a very distinct garter edge. It's totally up to you, of course, but isn't this awesome? Isn't this lovely? I'm so pleased and so happy, not only that I could do it, but that I could share it with all of you. Yep. And I hope that this encourages you to try doing this yourselves. And if you liked this video, please give a little thumbs up button down below. You know I appreciate your appreciation, as always. You know it. So listen, until next time, I want all of you, please, to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, stay stitching, stay safe, and keep watching, because I put out videos as often as I can, whether it's knitting, crocheting, audiobook narrations, or of course, my other YouTube channel, Fiber Spider Games, where I do video game playthrough and commentary. A lot of fun. Would like to see you there too, and it would be a great way for you to show even more support. I need all the help I can get, So listen, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I hope that you give this fabulous project a try. Do not be afraid. I see so many comments saying, oh, I could never do that. Hey, I did it. You can do it. Yeah. So give it a whirl, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.